Kaz here, and I'm back with another video. And in today's video I'm going to be talking about what to do if you get a big unexpected bill. So as I'm filming this, we are talking about a lot of price hikes in gas and electricity. So with that comes a lot of stress and worry, and obviously there's going to be people getting bills that maybe are higher than normal. So what do you do in that case? I just thought it would be good to chat about ways that we've handled the unexpected bill. So last year we actually got a very large ESB bill. We got a bill that was over €500, and it was so surprising. And we weren't able to pay that. Like, we didn't have the finances to pay that bill outright. Normally our ESB bill would be around €200 a month, and so this was over double that. So it was 2.5 times that amount, and it was just such a massive amount for our family to have to pay outright. So, and at the time I was on maternity leave, so yeah, I didn't have an extra income. So the first thing we did when we got that big bill is we went and looked at our meter. So we wanted to make sure if the reading on the bill was the correct one, just to make sure that there wasn't a mistake or an error. And if you look on your ESB bill, it will have an E beside it, beside the number if it's an estimate. That's a very important thing to look at. So basically you need to make sure that the number they are giving you is the correct meter reading. So we went round and checked it, and unfortunately for us, it was correct. What had happened was we had obviously bought our house, and in the flurry of getting into the new house and getting set up and everything connected, we took our eye off the ball, and we hadn't submitted our meter readings, and we hadn't checked to see where they read. So what had happened was they were estimated way too low. The house had been vacant for a little while before we moved in, so it was much lower usage, and then when we moved in it obviously went up, and this wasn't accounted for, and because of that then we were given this crazy big bill. So the first thing we did then, after finding out that the reading on the bill was correct and there had been an estimate before that, is set a reminder in our phone to read it from now on. And then after that we rang ESB. So I think a lot of the time people want to bury their head in the sand with these things, and it is so important to communicate, whether if that is with your bank because you're unable to pay your mortgage, or if it is for paying a big bill. It's always so important to communicate, and usually they just want to see some sort of payment. So what we did was we rang ESB and we set up a payment plan, and we were able to set up that we would pay half of it this month, and then we would pay half next month, and that was still very difficult for us, but we agreed with the plan. Now, it wasn't easy. They rang us every week, I think, until the next month. They have a team that is trying to get that payment, and they ring you, and that is obviously a part of their strategy to make sure that you are going to do what you say you're going to do, and you're going to pay them. And we certainly didn't forget. It was a bit of hassling from their side, but what I would say is there was no actual problem with doing what we were doing. They had no problem with us splitting the bill in half, and we had no horrible letters or things like that come out, and we didn't have obviously our electricity shut off or anything like that. But that is one way of looking at it, and that was a way that we were able to pay off that large amount without getting into debt. Another thing you can do to prepare for things like this is to create your emergency fund. So if that was back then when that happened, we didn't have an emergency fund. But if that was to happen now, we could probably just pay for it out of our emergency fund. And that's what it's there for, you know, a genuine emergency. So if you haven't already started, I would suggest putting a little bit aside just for these unexpected bills. A lot of people ask me, how can I put the money aside? You have an opportunity now this month. This month, everybody who is paying for electricity in Ireland is going to be given €200 credit towards their electricity bill. And that's going to help you this month. But what's going to help you next month? You know, like this term now will be helped a lot by that credit. When the next bill's due, you mightn't have that money. You mightn't have that credit. In fact, it's not looking at all like we will. So what I would suggest is to put some of that money to one side if you can at all afford it. Obviously, it's not going to work for everybody. You're getting €200 credit off your bill. If your bill is normally, like me, around €200, this maybe is the time to put that €200 that you would normally have paid into an emergency fund. So what we are going to do is we're going to put some of that money aside. We're going to put it into Revolut, into a vault, and we're just going to call it electricity. And I'm not sure how these price hikes are going to go. Every single provider in Ireland has announced now a price increase for 2022, and that's going to mean a big difference in your electricity bills and also your gas bills. So I would suggest putting some of that money aside, and if you needed to take a little bit of it over the next few months, it will just spread out that saving, that credit to help your family for a bit longer until you are able to get to a place where you are not struggling quite as much financially. So that is one thing I would do there with that credit. Yeah, there isn't any mention of this happening again. And I think to sit back and think, right, well, you know, that's something we didn't need to pay for this month, and just leave that 200 in your account and let it just flitter away, is a big mistake to make. This is a chance to maybe get ahead that you didn't have already. So yeah, if a big bill comes and you have an emergency fund, you will have at least something to dip into for that unexpected bill, and you'll just have a bit longer of your own time to be able to work that back up to the original amount that was in your emergency fund. I think when a big bill comes, the main thing to do is to try not to panic and communicate with your partner. It's the time then to sit down with your budget and work out what you realistically can pay off it. So for example, if it's a €400 bill and you were expecting it to be €200, you need to sit down and see, can you pay a bit more? Like, is it possible? Because if it's not, you need to then ring them up and explain your situation. It's really important when these things happen to not panic. Take a breath, take a breather, look at your money and see what you can do. And from that, before you clamp up and decide you can't pay any of it, you need to think about it. I'm going to link a few different companies down below that will help you if you're in a situation where you honestly just cannot pay this large bill that has come. One of them is MABS, and they are a brilliant organisation. They are the Money Advice Bureau, and they will help you come to an arrangement, particularly if it is debt or a mortgage payment that you are just not able to pay. They may be able to look at your finances, move things around, or even make deals with the companies that are looking for the payment. I know it's so difficult right now, but you need to look after your four walls which is your house, your food, your utilities and your transport. And I know we are in a situation right now in this country where so many people are struggling even to keep their four walls going. But yeah, I hope some of this advice helps. I know it's not necessarily the most positive topic, but I think it's something that needs to be discussed. And yeah, I will chat to you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.